Look, I'm not an Iran expert, and I'm not going to pretend that because I spent 2 days watching former generals on CNN explaining this, I understand the Middle East. But I am a regular American, and I can tell you my reaction, and it was mixed feelings, because when I heard that the Ayatollah was dead, I shared in the celebration of so many Iranians around the world, and including in the United States. I thought of Mahsa Amini, the journalist who was stopped by the morality police and cruelly, brutally killed. I thought of Vida Rabbani. I thought of my friend Tom Al-Ganyan, whose uncle was executed by the Ayatollah in '79. And that is one part. But I also have such anxiety. I am furious that we are going into war yet again without congressional approval. I am furious that the American people have not been brought into this. I am furious that we are doing this alone. Yes, Israel is part of it, but I look at Donald Trump and I look at Netanyahu, and I see two leaders who I think politically they benefit from war. Netanyahu is facing criminal charges for corruption back home. Donald Trump is facing very low numbers and Epstein files that are not, and we will not let go away. And so, I think that's where a lot of Americans are. That we're happy that the Ayatollah is dead. He's brutal regime. And let me just say one more thing. Trump has, I think, changed since Venezuela. I think I think he thought Venezuela was incredibly successful, and he's been making comparisons with what happened in Venezuela with what's happening in Iran. I don't know Iran, I know Venezuela. Maduro was a piddly little third world dictator. Venezuela is not Iran. Iran has terrorist cells all over the world that they can activate. Venezuela was one and done. They went in there, they extricated Maduro, and that was the end of that. This certainly is not that. He's already told us it could be 4 or 5 more weeks of strikes. We are seeing retaliation by the Iranians that the Venezuelans didn't have the ability to do. So I think that he's in love with this idea of being the conqueror and the emperor after Venezuela. He's got this Napoleonic complex. He thinks he's Alexander the Great. But Venezuela is not Iran. I mean,
the bottom line is that this is an illegal war. This is an unconstitutional war. Only Congress can wage war and declare war. And so that's the first thing. I think we have to call a thing a thing. So this is an illegal war. This is a presidential war. I will also say, I think what Anna was about to say, did the regime really change? No. At this point, Donald Trump has come out and said, I had some choices for who would lead, but they are dead now too. And so now you have people that are in Iran picking their own people. So you don't have a regime change, just like you don't have a regime change in Venezuela. Also, what I'll say is it's very, very easy to start a war, right? Without a plan. It's very difficult to end a war. We've seen in Russia invading Ukraine, thinking that it was going to be over. It's 5 years later, 610,000 Russians are either maimed or killed. 1.2 million Russians maimed or killed. We've got 600,000 Ukrainians maimed or killed. That war is not over. I thought this was going to be the president of peace. I thought this president wanted to win a Nobel Peace Prize for peace. That is not what I'm seeing. I am not seeing America first. I think people that voted for Trump, I was not one of them. I think you were. Those people wanted America first. I proudly voted.
I think it starts with Congress. I just think that they are our elected representatives, and he needs to give them the respect of giving them the information and making them part of the decision.
At this point, this is an unconstitutional war. It's an illegal war. He didn't go to Congress. He didn't go to the UN. He didn't go before the American people. And that's why at this point, 27% of Americans, only 27% of Americans approve of these actions. And I don't have any confidence that Donald Trump has any sort of plan. Maybe he has concepts of a plan, but he does not have any sort of plan.
Sunny, just to mention the other presidents that have gone in without congressional approval are Biden, Obama, Clinton, George H.W. Reagan. So I would be more upset that Congress has ceded this power than mad that the president didn't check with Congress.
Well, I'm mad about all of it.
I think we can
quite honestly.
Okay, let me refute some of these claims by these two idiots. This military operation is not illegal. And I repeat, this is not illegal. A lot of Democrats were complaining, and these two as well, that Congress was not notified. And according to the press secretary, prior to the military operation, Secretary Rubio notified the Gang of Eight. And let me go into more detail on the War Powers Act. Before I go into more detail on the War Powers Resolution, it is not in the Constitution. Almost every president has done a military operation without notifying Congress. It says the president must notify Congress within 48 hours. And it's not clear whether it needs to be before or after. It doesn't specify whether it needs to be before or after the military operation. And it says deploying troops as well, which makes it more unclear whether it applies or not. So Congress was notified within 48 hours, and now he has 60 days whether it gets approved or not. So far, everything he's done is legal. And like I said, this is not in the Constitution. So nothing Trump has done is illegal. Here's a video of Nancy Pelosi saying Obama doesn't need to notify Congress.
So, Madam Speaker, or Madam Leader, you're saying that the president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya?
Yes.
I find it amusing that they say they're not experts and then declare that it's illegal. They can oppose it without stating that it's illegal because it's a very gray area. And most of their disagreements seem to be coming from just vibes. So feelings and not facts. I think Trump made the right decision though. Iran has been funding terrorism everywhere, killing our allies and Americans. It may have been an unpopular decision, but I think it's the right one. Being preemptive is better than waiting to get attacked, because that probably would have ended up with more casualties. And I agree with a lot of people, I don't want another war. We don't need a war to defeat Iran. They will be defeated before that happens. We already killed the leader and a bunch of their top officials. So I think this will be over quickly. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below so I can read your opinions on this. And like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.